What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to the WARFRAME video. So today we're doing a revisit of Sevagoth in the Echoes of Veilbreaker update. We got armor strip changes, we got Archon shards, we even got some new mods, and we're going to talk about Sevagoth and my current builds I've been messing with the last couple days. Before we get into it though, make sure you check out the live stream channel. We'll be live later tonight with the WARFRAME weekly reset. Actually, this video might come out on Monday, so that stream already happened. But go check out the live stream channel as well, because we do live stream quite often. And also, make sure to sub to this channel. We do daily WARFRAME video uploads here. And yeah, if you want to see all the build videos when they go up, be sure to hit that sub button. Alright, so Sevagoth, what has changed with the build? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, there's a lot of annoying stuff going on with Sevagoth, especially when the nerd math is involved. There's like a special amount of shield gating we're supposed to hit with Sevagoth, which is 68 shields. But DE decided to troll us. With Augur mods, if you have, I believe it's 3 of the Augur set bonus. So yeah, if you have 3, we have 4 currently. If you have 3 of the Augur set bonus, you will get 67 shields. The math is supposed to be 67.5 shields, but DE rounds down on us and we don't get full shield gating with that set. With Brief Respite and 3 Augur set, you will not fully shield gate on Sevagoth with his first ability, Reap, which is the one I wanted to shield gate with. But yeah, we've got 2 different builds for you today. This is a full shield gating Tharo strike build. And the reason armor strip is really good is because Sevagoth's second ability, So, is going to do percent health damage. Now, it's only going to do percent health damage as a blast damage attack. So, blast damage is diminished by armor. That's why enemies not having armor is really good for Sevagoth's second ability. So, combined with Reap and So will make that percent damage explosion. You're also going to have vulnerability from the first ability, Reap. So power strength is pretty good on here. That's why we've gone with power strength shards. We have another build with Terrify from Necros as well. It's more of like a Halloween spooky build. So we got 3 normal red crimson shards with strength. So that's 30% strength from the normal shards. We've got a Tau Forge crimson shard with 15% strength. So we've got a total of 45% strength between these 4 shards. And we've got 1 casting speed shard just to make it so casting Reap is a little bit faster. Also casting Tharo Strike and Terrify is a little bit faster too. This one could technically be put into something else if you wanted to put on, like, increased energy maximum, mobility, I suppose. But we've gone with casting speed. 1 casting speed shard isn't going to change that much, but it's somewhat noticeable. So, this build is meant for doing the steel path. Tharo Strike will armor strip and shield strip acolytes. With our build, 200% strength is the exact amount we need to fully strip enemy armor and shields. So, that's going to be Umbral Intensify and 1 other Umbral mod. Now, here's the thing. I would like to actually try out Archon Intensify, which would give us 60% strength overall. That's overkill for how much strength we get. But at the same time, Tharo Strike is technically healing you, and it will proc this. Gloom Lifesteal will not proc this. So don't worry about that. But the big thing is, now that we've made new Intensify mods, my Umbral Intensify is potentially not exactly worth it. So I wish they didn't make this mod Intensify, because you can't actually even use them on the same build. I'd have to like swap them out or something, so that's really annoying. And also, since I have to run 1 extra Augur mod I didn't want to run, I actually wanted to run Streamline in this slot to give us an easier time with energy, but you pretty much have to run full Augur if you want the Augur set. So here's the idea of what the build is. They're going to show the Terrify build in actual mission. I'm going to pause this AI too. So these guys are usually really tanky. We can use Sevagoth's second ability. This does true damage over time, 500 true damage over time, and also, like I said, when you combine it with his first ability, So it will explode in percent health. And there you go. Those are Exo Goxat officers getting blown up. So pretty good stuff there. Now we start moving on to the weapons that we're using. We're using the Trumna from Deimos, which is currently bugged, and that's partially why I'm using it, just to remind everyone that it's bugged. This thing has a secondary shot. It's a big, big boom. On the Terrify build, it's actually, we've modified it to red crit. But yeah, the big boom from the Trumna is going to be really good for killing acolytes. As you saw right there, big damage. I mean, I think that guy was still armored. He died. So, yeah, that can go and happen over and over again. But the reason that the Trumna is bugged is that this thing, that alt fire shot I just fired off, that builds stacks by getting kills. But unfortunately, my normal build, this is the build I'm using right now in the video, which is corrosive, and it has built-in heat, so it's corrosive heat pretty much. But Hunter Munitions no longer gives you stacks of the secondary shot from damage over time kills. So if you're doing a damage over time build on the Trumna, you are likely not going to be building many stacks for the secondary shot. That's why I'm going with corrosive here. Not only are the enemies going to be armor stripped and basically already dead, so the corrosive build will kill them easily, but the Acolyte's actually weak to corrosive. So we can just bombard the Acolyte with the Trumna secondary shot and blow them up. I've actually got a minus projectile speed Riven. This will make it where I can actually do... I basically call it ground zero, where you can make the Trumna bomb bounce off the wall and actually hit where you want to hit multiple times. I'm still trying to get used to doing it reliably, but with a minus projectile speed Riven, I think you have to stand like about 10 meters from the wall. So here's what I'm talking about. So I got my shot fully stacked up. I want to, so the idea of this is an acolyte's gonna appear right here. I want to hit the acolyte with the bomb and then have it bounce off the wall and hit them again, because they're gonna likely be slowed by gloom. So that's the idea. Let's say the acolyte's right there. So that was a little bit too close. I actually want it to bounce off, hit the wall, and then bounce onto them multiple times and just like completely scorch them. So I'm still getting used to that. It's about 10 meters away from the wall with a projectile speed negative Riven, and without a negative projectile speed Riven, it's about 17 meters away from the wall. So hopefully you understand what I'm trying to say here. That can definitely toast the acolyte. Alright, that's the Tharo strike build with Trumna, but as far as the other things, you got the Epitaph. This is Sevagoth's signature weapon, and I am thinking about making a DPS build for him. But yeah, we've got multiple auger mods in here because of the shield getting problem. We've got a viral heat build just for status proccing enemies, give them lots of damage. And then we've actually got Exodia Contagion. We're using a Rob V Zaw, and the reason we're using a Rob V Zaw is because not only is the Riven disposition very high, but there's this new hammer skin. So I wanted to use this new hammer skin with Exodia Contagion. And the build for this is just going to be, well, since we're armor stripping them, it's going to be viral and big crit. A Riven mod with crit damage, crit chance, crit melee damage overall is going to be good. Also, Bane of the Grenadier technically works on this. So this is a min-maxed Riven for Grenadier pretty much. But yeah, this is an Exodia Contagion setup with the hammer. And as you can see, when we use Exodia Contagion, it launches the hammer skin. That's why I'm using this. It has good Riven dispo and it looks funny. That's literally it. So this can be a nice little backup thing. This does proc Arcane Dexterity for primaries and secondaries. So you can see right there, secondary Dexterity got procced from Contagion kills. And this is without even stacking a Blood Rush. This thing can hit pretty much damage cap as far as numbers are concerned if you stack everything up properly. That was with no combo multiplier at all. So let's start talking about the Terrify build, and we'll get some gameplay on the screen of the Steel Path. So overall, I was very, very not surprised, but I was pleased with what I saw with Sevagoth. I was having a lot of fun playing him. The Trumna, it's a really fun weapon. I hope that they bug fix the 100 munitions thing, because that's a little bit annoying. But on this Terrify build, we're actually going for big red crits. This is a more for fun build. It's like a late Halloween build, basically. So we got Spooky Sevagoth with Spooky Terrify. And we're not using Creeping Terrify because we have Gloom from Sevagoth. We don't need Creeping Terrify. They're already going to be really slow. So the thing about this build is that unlike the Tharo strike build, we're a little bit overkill on strength here. But I don't feel like we're that overkill on strength because, like I said earlier, Sevagoth's debuff from his first ability scales to strength. His second ability technically scales to strength, and his Gloom slow caps at like almost 300% power strength, so we're not capped on Gloom slow, so I wouldn't say it's a waste of power strength to put extra power strength on Sevagoth. That being said, this build is not really meant for shield gating, unlike the other one. We've got like 3 auger mods and Terrify. You're basically going to be shield gating with Terrify if you're using this build, so let's go ahead and show it. The Trumna is really good for chewing through trash ads. Did I mention that? With Prime Shred on here, we shoot multiple enemies at a time. We've got Deadhead, and we've got primary, or Arcane Rage, I think it's called, to get more damage on headshots. So we're doing big damage, and yeah, you can actually nuke these guys with Sevagoth's 2-in-1, like I showed earlier in the video. But we're using the Trumna because Trumna's fun. Alright, so here's the Terrify build. Like I said, it's not really as meant for endurance runs. You could definitely make it meant for endurance runs just by putting Rolling Guard right here. But yeah, this is more of a health tanking Sevagoth build. We've got Umbral Vitality and Umbral Intensify again, just to give us enough power strength. Well, more power strength, rather. This is, like I said, this one doesn't really hit any specific breakpoints. But our slow is going to be 70% slow with 10% lifesteal. That's pretty good to me. Our Terrify is 100% armor strip, 40 enemies affected. Really good. We got Combat Discipline right here, so we'll take damage on kill, but since we're using Gloom, we're going to be fully lifestealed up anyway. And that will trigger Arcane Avenger, giving us 45% increased crit chance. That's making our Trumna, so with my Riven, I have a crit chance Riven on the Trumna. We are at 210% crit chance on the Trumna. Actually, yeah, that's pretty good. I'd say that's pretty good right there. Actually, I think it's like 220% crit chance on the Trumna. So we have a 20% chance to red crit on the Trumna before we use any Vigilante mods. So we have Vigilante supplies, it will become red crit sometimes even after the fact. So if you don't have a crit chance Riven on the Trumna, honestly just get a Trumna Riven. This has no Bane mod. You can maybe put a Bane mod on there, Bane of the Grenadier, to kill the Grenadier faster to get stacks. But yeah, just get a Bane, get a Riven with multi-shot crit chance if you can, or like multi-shot whatever. Crit chance is nice to see more red crits, but yeah, overall DPS increased stats. So that's the idea of the build. We want really high range so we can have a big coverage for our 2. Actually, range is good for all of our abilities. So range is for everything. Duration is not as important. If you want to sacrifice a mod in here for a little bit of flexibility for something else, this Prime Continuity is not doing much. The only thing it's really doing for us is making it where our drain equation on our Gloom is better, because duration and efficiency are taken into effect when you're calculating that. So we right here, 3.39 is the maximum. We take that off, it's 5.25. We get a massive increase to drain if we remove duration. So that's the main reason I have duration on here. Prime Sure-Footed because until they nerf it, I'm using on every build basically, and Prime Flow. So this build is meant for just like, it's very similar to the Tharo Strike build. It's just more like, it's not as focused on high-level enemies. So let's get those same exact Exo Goxdead officers. The build will definitely still work. It's just, Terrify's going to make them running away from you. Tharo Strike's going to make them like stunned a little bit, and it will work on shields and acolytes. The fact that Terrify doesn't work on acolytes is what kind of kills it for me. So basically just one-shot all of them. And yeah, that's the fun part of the Sevagoth. You might have noticed I've subsumed off his shadow form on both the builds. The shadow form just feels clunky. I hate to say it, the shadow form feels really clunky. I wish they'd do some like mobility animation cleanups on it, but another annoying thing about Sevagoth is that his shadow form passive actually overrides Last Gasp from Unairu. I really feel like all those types of things, Anaro's passive, Sevagoth's passive, and even Last Gasp in general, those should be able to be toggled off. The fact that you're stuck with those is extremely annoying, because I like Sevagoth's passive, but there's times I don't want to be using it, and you are forced into it. His passive is when he dies, he becomes the shadow form, which if you one-shot 5 enemies with the shadow form, you come back from the dead. It's very similar to Last Gasp on Unairu, but honestly, on Unairu, at least you could go into the void as operator to hide and not take damage. You're getting shot at the entire time as a shadow form, and it's usually fine, but sometimes it's not fine. So that's kind of how I want to put it. So hopefully you guys found this video helpful. I've got other builds for Sevagoth too. The Silence build from a while ago is still good. I just want to show like his 2 and his 1 combo with armor strip is really nice, and the Trumna still is bugged. So like there might be times I get a heat proc kill for my Trumna that will not give me stacks for the alt fire. So hopefully DE fixes that. I don't know if that's even like something they're looking to fix. Hunter Edition's not working on the Trumna alt fire for building stacks, but I did my due diligence reporting. I've seen other creators reporting it too. It's not just the Trumna either. It's like the Sepulchrum and other stuff like that. So I'll see you guys next time. Enjoy this build if you have the stuff to do it. And yeah, Contagion was not really focused on very much here, but I'll probably have a Contagion build coming out in the next couple days with another frame that's been pretty fun with. All right, guys, take it easy. Good luck with those Tau Shards. Peace.